Welcome, everybody. We're going to be talking with Hamish McKay, co-founder and CEO of Order Editing. We're going to be talking about enhancing e-commerce, the power of post-purchase and order editing. To do that, we brought on Hamish himself. Hamish, how are you?
I'm
And thanks for
fantastic.
joining.
Thanks for having me, Gabe, and thanks for having me, customer.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I think this will be a fun session. A lot of questions about how to optimize this kind of post-purchase experience. Before we dive into the topic, maybe tell me a little bit about yourself and some of the cool things you guys do over there.
Yeah, howdy. I'm a 23-year-old co-founder here at Order Editing. We built a Shopify app 3 years ago after working brand side for Mr. Beast, where I found out that like 20% of our support tickets were customers needing to make changes to their order. And we had this gnarly post-purchase stat, and everyone said it was impossible to edit orders. But we decided to figure it out and build a solution. And now we're servicing over 1,600 merchants, over 300 on Shopify Plus with self-service order editing for customers.
Dude, I love it. I love it, man. Um, yeah, I didn't realize you had that many logos. That congratulations. That's awesome. What a cool problem. I want to actually dive into that a little bit today and see if we can double click on that. So that's a perfect intro. I was going to actually ask you what the idea for order editing was, but I think you've already nailed that. So I'm going to jump to number two and just ask, why do you think the post-purchase experience has been, I don't want to say overlooked, but maybe it's the challenge. Like you were saying that changing the order, it just feels like some people haven't focused on it as much, but it's coming more now. Why do you feel like it's becoming more at the forefront?
Yeah. I mean, it's been locked away in a box. Like, when we built this product, the whole market just told us that it's not possible to make changes to an order after purchase because it goes to your ERP or your warehouse management software. And once
Yeah.
it's there, it's done. And I think that like thought was just burned into everyone's brains over the last 20 years of e-commerce being born because it's the way it's always been done. And you can see like some people have poked at that frustration or at that like locked off box. People have poked at the returns and they've opened up this new door of I can deliver a post-purchase experience on the returning side of goods. We did the exact same thing with order editing. And, for us as founders, we were lucky that no one did kind of try and break the walls a little bit of the post-purchase because we ended up being the first to do it. But you can understand why, because every single CTO out there, every single NetSuite implementation manager, whoever they are, says,
Mhm.
like, this isn't possible. Why would you even bother? And,
Interesting.
you
Yeah,
know,
kind of crack that code. What is the inner work without getting too into the technical jargon that I won't understand? I mean, how did you make it possible? I mean, that seems like that is impossible. How did you do it? Any surface level answer for people who aren't very intelligent like myself here?
yeah, I mean, without disclosing IP, like we effectively created this new layer or this window of time between the two softwares. We were able to just block any downstream system from downloading an order for a period of time.
That's
And
cool.
the brand just says, hey, I want 30 minutes, I want 60 minutes. And we then create the grace between those two software platforms. And you can do whatever you want during that period of time because the order's in Shopify. You can edit it
That's
manually, you can
cool.
let customers edit it themselves, you can upsell them, you can do all sorts of different things.
Yeah, that's really cool. That actually makes a lot of sense. Good idea. Cool. I'm curious. Obviously you have some experience on both sides now. Being kind of a leader of a company, but also being kind of a practitioner at some of these, pretty reputable companies. What do you feel like as you think about kind of the world you're in? What unique challenges or insights did you see managing post-purchase CX at sale? You've highlighted one here, which is this concept of like order editing. Were there other things that you felt like were kind of hurting brands as you experienced some of it as you were a practitioner?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on where your brand's at scale and where your support team's at scale. But I know both from my experience and from like hanging out with CX directors or managers at larger organizations, let's say if they have more than 10 people on their team, 10 agents on their team, the thing that they really struggle with is just like quality checking.
Mm.
And you have 10,000 tickets in your help desk, or God forbid, like 50,000 every single month. How do you possibly like manage to spot check all of those tickets and make sure your agents are behaving in an ethical way or with efficacy?
Yep.
Um, and I think that's really challenging. And then naturally, like, the flip side to that is just customers are overwhelmingly contacting brands with questions because we're all expecting our order tracking to ship out to us, 30 minutes after we place it.
Yes.
We're all expecting an instant reply when we ask to change our address and make sure it goes to the right place. Like it's just a challenging environment. And I think as a CX manager, all that I care about at the moment is having like the best team possible that I can trust and love, and our customers trust and love, and then getting as few tickets as possible, like just trying to cut that number down.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, I love those. I think those are super highlights of what a lot of people are experiencing. I'm curious where you'd go with this one. You've obviously played in the order editing space now for a little while, but impact wise, how are you seeing? Are there stories, or are you seeing net promoter score? CSAT move forward. Like, what impact does it have when brands kind of figure out this kind of order editing concept?
Yeah, I mean, if we're to like work back to front on who this matters to the most, the end customer,
Mm,
there are like hundreds of Trustpilot reviews about our app on stores like Hixclad or LSKD or Baby Boo Fashion, where customers say they gave me 60 minutes to edit my order and they give a 5 star on Trustpilot. So you know that people love it. We don't have a CSAT score because the ticket never gets created.
yeah.
There's no way to like we don't collect CSAT because they don't get an email response. They just solve their shit and move on. But
Yeah.
some customers have been nice enough to leave a Trustpilot review. The agents are empowered with more time to work on tickets that actually matter.
Yeah.
And they feel like they're part of an innovative organization that leverages tech to make their lives better. And they enjoy working for companies like that, like in the agent level. And then the manager gets to present to their CEO that they onboarded a new software and it cut their ticket volume by 15%, and they won't need to hire another agent for 6 months.
Mm.
And then at the same time, like Outsource naturally costs money, that we're fortunate that we use that grace period, this like new surface layer to, as a monetization period. We monetize those mistakes. It's really hard for an agent to upsell you new socks as they're changing their address. But
Yeah.
in our app, as a customer changes their address, it's not at all pushy or weird to just have a sidebar that says stocks are 10% off. Do you want to add them to your order?
Oh,
Just like
cool.
just
Yeah.
like you have at checkout.
Yeah.
Um, so the manager kind of reports back to the CFO and says, "Hey, look, this new software is paying for itself."
I love that. I love that. I was just going to go there next. Like, are there creative ways people are doing this? What are they doing with order editing to maybe increase revenue? Oh, excuse me. Oh, increase revenue, or really like decrease, issues. Is there some fun ideas like that, like popping up the 10% discount on socks, or how are other people? They're just defining the 30 or 60-minute window, or any other things they're kind of doing to really do it right. This order editing concept.
Yeah, I mean the best innovation we have is like you use all of the standard functionality that you can imagine, like putting this on your confirmation pages and your emails and your help desk triggers. But the real innovation is like you've got 30 minutes or 60 minutes to capture these post-purchase customers, these converted customers. Why don't we send all of them an email 10, 20, 30 minutes after
Mhm.
they buy and say, "Hey Gabe, it's the warehouse assistant here. I'm preparing your order for shipment. There's actually space in it for product X, Y, or Z. And because we can just slip it in
Cool.
your box, I'll give you
That's
20%
cool.
off." And you drive traffic to it with this like upsell of this space in your box or this space in
Mm,
your package.
I
And
love that.
this fits perfectly in. No changing your
Love it.
shipping fee, those types of things.
I love it. That's a great idea. That's a good one, man. That's very tactical, very practical. Cool. Well, I wanted to get kind of this overview, Hamish. I think you've done a great job just kind of illuminating this part of the process that I don't think everyone thinks about in kind of the post-purchase experience. So appreciate you taking the time. As we wrap today, I'm curious, we got a lot of people feeling overwhelmed. Some people budgets are cut, doing more with less, some of the typical challenges that we as CX leaders face. Any tips or advice you kind of leave with the audience as they try to navigate this ever-changing world they're in?
Yeah. I mean, the best tip I could possibly give you to get more out of your customer experience department is to become a better manager or to become a better employee. Like go on a personal development journey or take your team on a personal development journey and get more out of their brains and their natural ability and develop
Mm,
their skills. You don't need to look to software subscriptions to change your life. Like there are things that naturally will help, but you'll probably find the biggest impact by being like 50% better a person or making your entire team 50% better a person.
Yeah.
they'll work harder for you, they'll treat your customers better. Like that's probably the most important thing you could possibly do in post-purchase. And I mean, the tactical insights there, they're really hard to give because they always sound woo-woo. But like read up on psychology, read up on coaching, get an executive coach, understand leadership theory, and just like every single day you interact with someone, reflect, how could I have done that better and improve? It's something I try and remind myself of every single day as a CEO, and I struggle and fail at completely.
Yeah.
Uh, but if I even do it 25% of the time, by the end of the year, I'm going to be a really cool guy. And by the end of the next year, I'm going to be an even cooler guy than before. And that's the best thing that you can possibly do.
I love it. Look, I think in a world where everyone's talking about automation and how to get rid of the human, it's good to hear someone kind of say, hey, there's a place for it. And obviously, if you really want a team to be strong, you got to make sure that you take the time to kind of improve, coach, and mentor those people so that they can move forward. I think you're absolutely right. It's like you got to find this balance, but people do matter, and being able to optimize that post-purchase experience starts and ends with the person. So cool. Okay. Well, hey, Hamish, really appreciate the time. It was a fun talk track. And for the audience, enjoy the rest of your day.
Much love.